So what is your experience within like what is like the experience how do I properly say this? How is your experience being first generation African American?
Ooh.
Wait, I'm
And
sorry. Can you just define what that means? Because I always get
wait,
confused, like on the
so
actual
okay, I'm gonna just
definition.
say
Like,
this because I know we all come from Africa, honestly, mainly, right?
Yeah.
So when I say this, I'm not trying to go on some I'm pro black shit. No,
nah.
we're not doing that. Respectfully, we're not doing that. But
No.
for us, we were all born here. Our
Right.
parents are African,
Yeah.
so we are African, and we're
Right.
also American. You
Yeah.
get it now?
Right.
So your experience, so I want to know, like, what is your experience being the first generation African American, and how do you balance being African and also American within America or within Africa?
Mm.
I mean,
Ooh.
you know,
Take your time.
Mm.
Don't yell.
Nah, don't do that. I feel like there's really no balance though, like, because balance would mean like it's two separate things. Like it's literally just one. Like I was born here, my parents are from Ghana, but it's like that's a whole nother culture. Like, because we both like you understand the language. Some people might not speak it, but it's like you eat the food, but then you go outside and you eat different food. Then you come home, like it's just a mixture. Like I feel like it's not really about balancing. It's just about like respecting the two and understanding like they both made you who you are, kind of.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree with you because I feel like with me, it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like in my household, my parents weren't really strict because they both went to school out here. So they kind of understood like what we're going through, the changes are going around them and stuff. So for me, I would say like growing up, it was a lot of pressure put upon me, especially being the oldest. You always have to set the example
Oldest girl
for, your siblings to come. It's always, oh, you're gonna go to Arabic school because, I want your siblings to follow up after you. You're gonna speak the language at home. But it wasn't strictly, oh, we're just gonna speak Wolof. Like, we'll speak English too, but it was kind of like more so being pressure put upon me because I feel like being the oldest, you have to set the example, making sure that you're not doing, bad things. So, they'll be like, oh, you're not like these Africans out here, you're from Senegal.
Yo.
Put that in your head.
Yo.
They be like, you're not, seriously, they'll be like, you're not like these
That
black
be
kids
the
out here. Like,
meme.
put that in your head. You're Senegalese first.
Yeah.
Like, keep that in mind. You're going to keep up with your prayer. You're going to respect your elders. And, when it's time to come home, it's time to come home. You're not going to be like your friends who stay outside till like 10 o'clock at night. I had curfew. My curfew was at 7 o'clock. My
Fuck
curfew was
that.
7
You lucky.
o'clock.
My shoe was at 3.
Yo.
Nah,
What?
3 is crazy.
I never
That's after
respected it,
school.
though.
Listen, my dad did not
That's
play.
straight
He was like,
home.
school, after school, come home. That's it. But my siblings, looking at them, it's like they got it easy. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro.
They got it
First
good.
child is the
My little
toughest.
sister got a whole
Always the
iPhone 13
toughest.
type shit. I'm like, yo, what the
Mhm.
hell? She only 9.
But for me, I felt like it was more so you knew what you're supposed to do. Like they put their trust in me. So it's like I knew what I had to do, in order to keep my parents' trust. So, just school, after school, come straight home, do what I gotta do. If we going to Arabic school, we going to Arabic school. If I'm going out, I'll let them know. But in terms of like, going out to hang out with my friends and stuff, my dad capped that. He was like, no, like,
Yeah.
he was like, no, like, you got to focus on your studies. We did not sacrifice all this for you guys to be hanging around, doing, I don't know, God knows what,
Yeah.
like your other friends out there. And I'm just like, okay, I understand, but like, don't make it seem like they're doing bad things,
No,
Yeah.
facts.
Like, this is America. Your kids are going to have to adapt to the culture somehow.
Yeah.
You just got to find a boundary in between both,
Yeah.
That's just how I see it.
How about you, bro?
Alright. I feel like it's just a melting pot. Like,
There is. Mm-hmm.
Growing up here, going to Africa when I was 2, coming back here, and all I knew was just the American culture.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like, your parents would be like, yo, you're not like these Americans out here.
Yeah.
I
Little
love
do you
seeing
know,
that.
like
Like,
I'm
I
out
am.
here, just
Mhm.
I'm with them
Shit,
every
they only heard
day.
you
Like,
speaking
yeah, I
at
see
school.
people that's African and stuff, but they grew up here too.
Mhm.
Like we all seeing the same things, and they think they know what's going on out in the outside world, but they don't.
They
You
don't.
know,
Really
they don't
Yeah.
know, and you tell them like, yo, I think y'all know, but y'all really don't know what's going on. And sometimes they do have that mentality of back home of how they grew up and
Absolutely.
stuff. So they try to instill that in you, but it's good to have that, you know, and also have, you know, that American side as well. Like,
That's true.
you know how to adapt, how to move, you know, in America, you know,
It's very important.
everything you learn in here, you can bring it back home,
That's
you
a
know.
Facts.
fact.
So
That's a fact.
it's like like you said, it's the best of both worlds. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it, you know. Like I got to experience both sides of things. You know, I just wish, I'm not gonna lie, like I just wish that I tapped in a little bit more into my African culture more, you know. Like I said, I went to Africa when I was 2. I didn't go back till last year in the summer. But that's because, you know, of certain situations with the fam. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy I got to speak French, go to France. I wish my parents would have spoke with me in my original language more, because they would have helped me speak that more, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just grateful, you know. So yeah.
My experience with it, I got a bit of both worlds. Like I said, with the African booty scratcher shit, that was my experience over here with that. So it was kind of hard to fit in here. I was born and raised here, but it was kind of hard to fit in here because I grew up. When I was born, I went to Africa. I was there for 4 years. I came back. My first language was French, and also a native tongue language, which was Mandinka. I didn't understand a word of English, so I had to adapt. And it was people that would just always make fun of you all the time. So I did not know how to properly speak, and I used to stutter when I was younger. Now, that's the worst thing you can ever have. And I come from a family of motherfuckers with tempers, which is why we're always calm. Right? So when I would try to speak and I start stuttering, I didn't know how to speak. So first thing I knew was, I'm going to deck you, and I know you're going to understand that. So it was hard to fit in. Growing up from there, going to middle school, then it went from me being the one that was getting bullied by them to now me being the bully. So it went from African booty scratcher to like, yo, that African nigga can fight.
I had the same experience.
Yeah, so when it went into that,
Yup.
the shit just changed. It was a game changer, you feel me? And then at the same time, when I was around Africans, it was like, nigga, you too black for us, bro. Like, that ass. It was that. Like, yo,
you Americanized.
Yeah, you Americanized. Like,
you don't look African.
me?
Like, what?
Even to this day, my
Bro,
dad
like-
still says, he tells me, nigga, you American, bro. You're not African. Like, feel me? Like, yo, it tells me that and shit. So it's always hard to fit in. So it's like you're kind of stuck in a limbo too at the same time when you're born here, because like you don't really know what side to really fit in the most. It's hard. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're there. And then sometimes when you're with some people, they make you feel like, damn, now I shouldn't be here. And it's back and forth. So you're just in a limbo trying to figure yourself out at the same time. And that becomes something that's like, it's hard. Like, you don't really know who to talk to. You don't know who to communicate with. Nobody really know how to really relate to each other.
Living double lives.